Monica McNutt, who's fine, and Bobby Marks. Monica, I'll start with you.
Here we go.
Would you believe that Jimmy Butler can keep the Warriors out of the play-in if Steph has to miss some time after going down hard on his back last night?
Well, Greeny, we've gone through the Warriors' schedule a little bit this morning as we've discussed this. Jimmy Butler, hey, accustomed to carrying a team. I'm going to go, yes, I would believe this one. In particular, their next 4 games, they should be all right.
They feel winnable. They've got a game-and-a-half cushion right now out of the play-in. Bobby, you're next. Would you believe the Knicks are going to be bounced in the first round of the playoffs?
I do. And for full disclosure, I'm the guy who said the Knicks had the best starting 5 in the NBA before the season started. And I'm not backtracking on that, but I'm buying into Detroit right now, Greeny. This is not a fluke with this Pistons roster here. I can see Detroit knocking the Knicks out of the first round.
Now, what you're seeing there, the Knicks, a bad loss to the Hornets last night. And then finally, D. Wood, this is for you. Would you believe the Lakers are going to be the 2 seed in the Western Conference?
I mean, I would believe it, but more importantly for me, I want my guys rested up. I want LeBron rested up, ready to go. So as long as we stay in, I would say in the top 4, I'm good with it. I'm great.
Right now they sit 4. The key is to stay top 6. The key is to stay top 4 if you want home court advantage. And there's all those little particulars. Stephen A. was on First Take yesterday saying if you're the Lakers, you're not really that concerned about anyone you have to play, with one exception.
If you're the Los Angeles Lakers this particular year, there's no one outside of Oklahoma that you should feel concerned about. If LeBron and Doncic is healthy in the lineup together with a Rui Hachimura back and you're fully loaded, I think the only team the Lakers have to worry about is OKC.
Okay, so the only team they have to worry about is OKC. Let's be clear, because I think, D. Wood, you just made the point. This is not about where teams wind up seeding. You don't care where they wind up seeded so long as they're rested, ready to go, and then it winds up how the bracket falls.
Right.
At the end of the day, we all believe that the Thunder are going to make it to the conference final. Monica, if you had to pick the next most likely team, the team you would say is likeliest, has the best chance of being the last one standing with them, and granted ahead of time, we don't know what the brackets are going to look like. Is it the Lakers?
I'm still on Denver. I just think, and now with the Warriors having had this injury to Steph now, I just think that these injuries are sort of temperamental. And remember, playoffs, everything gets, intensity is heightened, rest is shortened. And so I'm a little worried about a hamstring, a little worried about a pelvic bone, and I come back to Denver and Nikola Jokic having another MVP quality type of season and a core that still has a championship experience from their win a couple of years back.
So you say Nuggets. Bobby, how about you? The team that you think poses the best chance, I guess we could say the biggest threat to the Thunder in the West, but I'm really thinking here is, which team would you put your money on being the last ones standing with OKC?
Well, it's the team that's not in the top 6 right now, Greeny, and it's Minnesota. Minnesota is at 8 right now. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They've had 2 bad losses in their last 2 games here. I just look at their strength of schedule, easiest among Western Conference playoff teams. I think the goal is certainly to get out of that 7-8 range there, and if they can get to 6, I could see them beating a Houston or Memphis in the first round and potentially getting to a conference finals.
Now, the teams that we don't talk about that much are the 2 teams that are currently 7 and 8.
Come on, Greeny, and we need to talk about them 2 teams.
The Clippers and the Timberwolves?
We need to be talking about those 2 teams.
Tell me why.
Every reason that Bobby just mentioned for the Timberwolves, co-sign, repost, retweet, whatever you want to call it. When it comes to the Clippers, the other night, they're starting to get healthy. Ty Lue's obviously head coach, having some back issues. Hopefully he gets back to the sideline. He's healthy. But I know we're all sort of frustrated with Kawhi Leonard, but he's still got it. James Harden quietly has been having a year that you could put him into the MVP conversation if you wanted to. He's kept that team afloat when they lost Norman Powell, when Kawhi Leonard was in and out of the lineup. Zubats gives you size. They've got the ability to shoot the ball. They can defend when they lock in. Now, I know they haven't had a whole lot of time to gel as a collective, but I do think that you got to watch out for both of those teams.
Harden isn't having a good year quietly. He's having a good year silently.
Yeah.
Harden is averaging 22.5 points and 9 assists a game.
Come on, right? And from the carrying it, scoring, and facilitating piece of it all, it's sort of renaissance to when he was one of the more widely talked about players in the league.
All of that said, how do you feel, D. Wood?
Outside of OKC, it's anybody. Like, that's the way I feel. Even as a Lakers fan, there's not a team that I can look up and down like and give reasons why they could be playing OKC in the finals. That's how wide open the West is, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about, and Bobby, you know this, we talked about the home court advantage thing. That's going to be huge. And then it literally is going to be who gets hot at the right time, because there's a strength for each group. But to your point, Woody, there's a way for everybody to get there.
Bobby, final word.
Yeah, I mean, I think, listen, if Minnesota, the Clippers play in that 7-8 play-in game, it's basically an elimination game because you don't want to be that 8 seed having to go to Oklahoma City for that first round.
So that could be a fascinating matchup. That, yeah, again, Golden State, to go all the way back to the beginning of the conversation, going to try and hold those teams off, and we'll see if they wind up having to do it without Steph. Bobby, awesome. Thank you very much. Now, Monica mentioned that for her, today might be the best day on the sports calendar because we have day 2 of the men's tournament and day 1 of the women's brackets. The first round begins today on ESPN at noon Eastern with Kentucky hosting Liberty. Then we'll have Stephen F. Austin and Notre Dame. Then at 4, the number 1 seed, South Carolina, hosting Tennessee Tech. And so looking ahead to your women's brackets, let's play our favorite game. It is called Is That McNuts? So we all understand South Carolina, this has been their sport for a little while here. Monica, if I said South Carolina is going to get knocked out before the Final Four, is that McNuts?
That is McNuts, Greeny, because as one Sheree Whitfield, the great philosopher out of Atlanta, once said, who gonna check me, boo? There is no one in their bracket, in my mind, that I think can take South Carolina out. And I really like what Duke has done. I think they're somebody that you have to keep an eye on. They won their conference tournament in the ACC, and they're playing good ball. But I don't think anybody's stopping South Carolina, Don Staley, Phil Wiley, and crew.
I liked that one. Next, Paige Beckers. If someone said Paige Beckers needs a title to cement her legacy as one of the great all-time college players, is that McNuts?
I don't think that this is because that is the standard that UConn has set. They rattled off those 4 championships between 2012 and 2016, and they haven't been there since. Now, will Paige be respected and will she go into the rafters in UConn? Sure. But when you talk about the standard at UConn, I think even Sue Bird and the UConn greats would say that.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, all of the UConn greats have that championship. And then there's Juju Watkins. If I said she's going to lead USC to the title, is that McNuts?
You know, I love Juju. It is literally iconic. Some of my girls from Grow Our Game got Juju t-shirts the other day, and the look on their faces was priceless. Unfortunately, I'm going to go with this one being McNuts because I have USC running into UCLA and having some issues in the Final Four. So, yeah.
But you do have them in the Final Four.
And I got to be honest.
Because USC's got to get through UConn. Juju Watkins versus Paige Beckers is coming in the Elite Eight.
I literally was on my bracket like, okay.
Why did they put them in the same bracket?
Well, you look at all the, UConn doesn't want to be a 2 seed in South Carolina.
For the same reason that John Calipari is playing Rick Pitino tomorrow.
For theater.
Yes, we need it. There's nothing wrong with that. This is entertainment.
I literally was texting with one of my best friends earlier today. She put UConn instead of USC. That is going to be a terrific game, and it could go either way.
All right, so then with that, who is your Final Four?
My Final Four, UCLA, Lauren Betts, Kiki Rice from the DMV stand-up, USC, South Carolina, and Notre Dame, the 3 seed coming out of their bracket.
Wow.
I got Notre Dame getting by Texas to get there.
Okay, and then who cuts down the nets?
UCLA. I think we talk so much about scar tissue in sport, and don't get me wrong, I could be very wrong. South Carolina could do it again, but I think UCLA has been so close so many times here in recent history. Elite 8 appearances, on the brink of that Final Four. They've been really good consistently, but just have not been able to get over the hump. I think Corey Close has a group this year that can do it. And Lauren Betts, 6'7" in the center position, very versatile, defensively, offensively, a weapon. I mentioned Kiki Rice. You got Gabriela Jaime Jaquez's sister on that roster as well. I think it's UCLA.
UCLA. I picked South Carolina again because my brackets just have chalk dripping off